Yep.
I've been outside, but I don't have a tan like that. Being 7 o'clock, we'll open the Selectmen's Meeting of April 28th. Before we get into the agenda, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence for David Gelino. David worked in the town's facilities maintenance department for 3 years. So with that, a moment of silence, please. Thank you. First item on the agenda is Hannah Howard Scholarship discussion. We each have received packets with the applicants. Hoping we all have had the opportunity to review them. And I'm going to read the public notice. Please be advised that interested Oxford residents can apply for the Hannah Howard Fund Scholarship. Applications are available in January at the Selectmen's office, which is located in the first floor of the Town Hall. The Town Hall is located 325 Main. We can pick up applications between 9 and 4:30. The annual allotment is $1,200. And it is divided in half and paid in the first and second semester of the school year, just to bring you up to date on what it's about. I would entertain a motion if anybody would like to place a motion on the floor.
I'd like to make a motion, Chairman Sad, to award applicant number 2 the Hannah Howard Scholarship Fund for this year.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion that's been made and seconded. Discussion. Before we get into discussion, I just want to let everyone know that we have not seen any of the names. They have been redacted. So the selectmen's choices are based on the application and the information within. So with that being said, any discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carried. The applicant is applicant number
2.
2. Okay. Next item on the agenda, if everyone is here. It's discussion about municipal curbside trash, and I will yield to the manager.
Okay, I asked to have this put on the agenda to revisit an effort that started several years ago to look at consolidating municipal trash collection under one contract. Currently, there are many haulers around town, and the prices that people pay for trash removal are very variable. I think there's a potential to save our residents money if we consolidate under one contract. We'd certainly have less wear and tear on our roads if we had one truck going down the road to collect all the trash instead of several trucks. But there's a process, and I've invited Irene Condon from DEP to come talk to us tonight about what that process is and what some of the benefits are.
Chloe?
Good morning, or evening.
Good evening.
Evening.
Evening. Time is going fast here. I'm Irene Condon. I'm the Regional Recycling Coordinator with Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. We have a few opportunities. I just wanted to show this to you so you can kind of see the state. Out of 351 communities, there are 28 communities that are such like yourself that are private subscription, that there's not a drop-off, there's not a curbside. It's all residents they contact a private hauler. So just 28 out of the entire state. And what we found is that it is double the amount of costs that people pay for private subscription versus having a town contract. And we've have discussions, we've learned a lot of different ways, and looking at this like we did a few years ago, we want to discuss a flat fee kind of program that to have everybody like. So we want to start the discussion again. So one of the things was to see about forming a committee, and there's a few grants available. One is, they're coming up now in June, is a grant for funding. First one is a grant for funding, and you only get it if it's approved. So you can go through the process. We get a technical assistance grant, which would come out in August. And That'd be time, you'd get free time to work with the committee, seeing if this is the right plan for the town, if you're gonna go out to bid, or who the contractor is gonna be, do the education campaign, go through public hearing, go through another public hearing, a vote. And that could all be helped out through the technical assistance grant. But like I said, there's another grant which is funding, so that could help with getting carts, could help with extra staff time, could help with the education pull. And that is a year out, so there is nothing happening within the year. It would just be there if the town does look at going to a curbside program. And after a committee, and after the town has voted on it, and after the board has approved it, then the funds would then be available. So wanted to come to you and say that we have, DEP has a SMRP grant, Sustainable Material Recovery Program grant money, as well as technical assistance. And so if we can get a committee to move forward, if the town would like to appoint one, and then we can move forward on that.
Question, board member? Yes.
Well, my first question that comes, how long does, if we were to go with this and the town approved it and the selectmen approved it, is this something that's like done? We could never get out of this contract, or?
A contract goes how long a town approves it for. Some contracts are for a year, some contracts are for 3 to 5 years. There are very few that are 10-year contracts, but that has to go, if you have over a 3-year contract, you have to go to town meeting to approve that.
Because my
And then you can change after the
yeah,
contract
my
ends.
initial, thought process is, does this become a monopoly? Like kind of an electric company or something like that, where you got one provider and you got to go with that provider, or like the cable, you got to go with that cable.
Well, one of the things, by being a fee-based program, this is not in the tax base, because with Proposition 2.5, it's impossible to get
Right.
a program that would be in the taxes. So this would be a fee-based program, so people at any time could opt out of it.
Oh,
So they have an opt-out ability.
so the residents aren't required, it's not like the city of Worcester where they have
Correct, that's
their
in the tax base.
municipal. Okay, so that means that people with dumpsters versus just their small little bins or something, it'd be the same thing.
Most communities try for just the single-family households, so 1 to 3 family units, not dumpsters, would be participating in the program. So you'd go out to contract for just those households.
Okay,
And then we work with the committee, come up with pricing of what the contracts, the market bears of pricing. And try to get it into the a bill, so that it already goes out. It wouldn't be the tax bill. I think we're talking about the electric bill, or the sewer bill, and that would just be added, and it would be like a monthly or a quarterly fee.
okay.
And then you can say, I have this hauler. You'd put just your receipt of, like this particular hauler who didn't get the grant, get the bid, put in that receipt, and then you wouldn't have to pay the bill.
So that confuses me, because now how do we cut down on the excessive traffic, with other haulers and stuff like that? Are you still going to have that option? So you're still going to have,
It just
5
depends.
different haulers in the town.
If it were approved by town meeting, everybody would automatically be in, so most people would be in the
Would
program.
probably take it,
Yeah, and the price would go down.
because it's such a cost
Right.
One at a
savings.
time through the board, please. Chair?
Okay, thank you.
You all set? Mr. Voss?
Sure. Irene, the grants that are available, I know Dennis asked you how long this was for, and you said it was for as long as the contract, as
Yeah,
long as the contract we signed, but I imagine there must be some stipulation that we have to get this grant.
The grant is, the technical assistance time is for a year. Both would end in June 30th of next year. But if you decide like we're semi-close, or we can, move the technical assistance grants, you would just reapply. And that would also be the same thing. If you got close but you felt not this year, you could say for the carts, let's reapply. So it's not, you don't get the money unless you spend it, but you get the technical assistance.
But to qualify for the grants, wouldn't the town have to say, okay, we're gonna opt into this, and isn't there a minimum time period that we'd have to be involved in a program like this, or would it just be,
For, if the state of Massachusetts helps with the funding of carts, I think they want you to keep the carts for at least 5 years.
so if we get this kind of money, we're looking at probably a 5-year commitment, more than likely.
Right.
So it's not 1
I
year.
don't think there's been anybody
one-
that has ever said, I don't want the carts.
No, I hear you, it's just laying all the facts out on the table, that's all.
And all the details of that would come out of the committee. It's not my thing. It would be the town's
Right.
picking the type of program that you would
Right.
be interested in.
As far as the billing goes, the billing is going to go through
I
the
think when we
the
say
carrier, or is it going to go through the town? How is that gonna work?
Which thing, that was the sixth word? I'm looking at.
I think we're getting into some details that will be explored as part of this whole process. We're talking about a year-long process or more to look at all of these details in a committee setting. And we would talk about lengths of contracts, we talk about how we do the billing, we talk about what size carts we might need. And we'd also just look at it on the face of it to see if it's something that's advantageous to the town or not. It may not be.
Right.
The point here is DEP is willing to step up to the plate and give us some money through the grant to go through this exploration. With the thought being that we can provide savings to the folks that have trash services in the town now through a private hauler. If we can offer a service that is through the town that's less expensive, then we see that as a win-win.
As far as what role the town would take in this, we really don't know yet, whether or not we'd have to provide billing or extra staff or anything like that. We don't know that yet.
We don't know yet.
So
That's
we're just
part.
gonna explore this and then come back, someone's gonna come back to us and say, okay, these are all the details and things of that nature.
That's correct.
I guess, in my opinion, I guess there's no, I don't have an issue with doing it, getting a committee together and doing getting all the facts together. I guess that's always a good thing, but, so, I was hoping we'd have a little more information tonight, but,
It depends on what the town wants the program to look like. So we have to put together a committee to get that details together.
I think the billing is probably going to be done up with the tax bills. I mean, that's the only way we're going to do this without adding staff.
Isn't there we have another bill that goes out, the sewer bill?
But that's the cart before the horse.
Yes.
Chair, my question is, I know some people have every week they have their bins out, some people have every other week. Would that still be something in effect with this?
That could be an option. It just depends what the town puts together and with the hauler.
Yes.
As far as the carts, does the provide? I know you guys are talking about raising money for the carts, but doesn't the whoever would win the bid, don't they provide the carts for the?
They could, however we structure the bid, could mean that they provide carts or not provide carts. If DEP is willing to step to the plate through a grant process to provide carts, then that has an effect to lower the price for everybody, in effect.
if I may, is this available to, I know you said residents, it's 1, 2, 3 family. So you've seen large multi-families, like Orchard Hill, they couldn't get on
That
board
would
with
be up to the
this.
committee if they wanted to, like the city of Worcester and the city of Fitchburg do 1 to 8 units.
Or resident, how about commercial? Would commercial customers be able to possibly save some money here as well, or there again, or is that just,
Those are things we'll have to
those are
look
things
at.
we'll iron out? And then would the town as a whole, municipal, the school, town hall, would they be able to realize the savings as well?
That's right.
Yep.
That's the idea.
And then one thing,
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to share, the one thing that's for the grant requirement, because the grant is coming up in June, is to have a buy recycle policy. And that's one of the items that I don't think the town of Oxford has in place. And I've given samples to the town manager. It's very simple. In the federal government, in the state government, there's biorecycled requirements when doing purchasing. And when we collect material on the curb to do recycling, we want a place for it to be purchased. And so it's a simple biorecycle policy, and that's a requirement for everybody. And pretty much, I'd say out of all the communities, I think there's only about 15 in the entire state that don't have biorecycle policies. So
Can you just explain a little more what the details are on that policy?
the policy in most things, the big thing that comes up is paper. You know, we all buy paper, even though we're buying less because, you know, we're doing a lot more through email or we're doing more through our computers. The like a 30% post-consumer paper count is a standard that goes through, but the language it's up to the board, you know, at the same price or equal to or give preference to. That those little details is up to the board to decide how strict or lenient the biorecycle policy is. So we have a sample from the state, and you can edit it the way you want it to.
But we're not required to fully participate in this?
We
or-
want the objective is that we want people to participate and to buy recycled products.
But there again, I mean, what's the,
But we don't have to buy 100% recycled
Correct.
products, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Because sometimes some prices are a little ridiculous. Of like a piece of paper, a ream of paper might be $6, and I know you can get by buying bulk at the schools and everything. It's a little cheaper, but 100% recycled might be double that. Well,
right,
that's
exactly.
a little.
That's the point I
That's
was
a little
getting to.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mr. Berthium?
Yeah, I feel whenever we can save money, it's always a good situation for us.
Well, I have a couple of questions. How does this affect the tipping fees that the carriers are paying now?
Well, one of the potential positive side effects that we could have from this is our arrangement that we have with the Oxford Transfer Station in North Oxford on Route 56. The town of Oxford has a community host agreement with that facility. And that facility gives the town a small amount of money for each ton of municipal solid waste that gets tipped there. So to the effect that we can structure a contract that requires the tipping of the waste at that location means more money comes back to us, to the town through that community host agreement. So this could be a win all over. We could provide a service that's less expensive for the average resident, and we could be getting more revenue back to the town by means of rerouting some of the solid waste that gets collected to that facility.
Okay, the other question I have is regarding choice. I mean, right now, the town, the state, government in general is out of the picture as far as residential trash is concerned. It's entirely up to the homeowner to make the decision in an open market as to who they want to get to take care of their trash. I have some reluctance here, not fully understanding why government wants to get back involved. There's the free enterprise system. I mean, people have a choice to go whichever hauler they want to go with. There's competition in the market because of that. They have the choice. And I think that competition between the haulers is good for the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So there are a lot of positive things about us going, not going with government being involved. So I would certainly have to see the positives that could become of this, not only for the consumer, but for the town. By all means, I have never refused the possibility of the opportunity to save money. But right now, I'm a doubting Thomas. I have to see the figures, see the facts, and really want to understand why government wants to get involved in something that is virtually working fine for the consumer.
And Chairman Satt, I share your feelings about that, quite honestly. And the whole point here is to take some free money from the state and explore this. If we find out that it's not going to be advantageous, that it's not going to save the taxpayer any money, that if it's some unreasonable burden on the residents in town, then I say we don't do it. But the point is, we want to look at it, because it could be a possibility where we all win.
Oh, I agree. Like I just said previously, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I think it's a good idea to explore it. If we can save money, fine. And if it doesn't work out to our advantage, then see you later.
And I think Irene can speak to this. What we have preliminarily found is the towns that have gone this route, that have gone from a private subscription service to a town-offered solution, it is, costs quite a bit less than the free market.
Absolutely.
Because what we have right now is, say, 6 or 7 haulers on any given day on any given street, going up and down. So they start at, say, 10 Elm Street. Their next pickup is at 90 Elm Street, and they've missed all the houses in between because they all have different customers. So you have multiple trucks on the same street running the same routes. They have to recover their costs. Each one of those haulers has to recover their costs. So if they only have 2 stops on one street when they could have 20, it's the same personnel, the same fuel cost, their costs are the same, and they're not getting an economy of scale there in terms of having multiple pickups and time in between stops.
Well, it certainly is worth exploring, and, I certainly appreciate you coming in and sharing this with us. And if there's an opportunity to benefit the community, I think the board ought to go along with it. And I would entertain a motion to explore it.
I'd like to make a motion that we establish a committee to explore this particular issue.
Do we have a second?
Second for discussion.
Second for discussion. Mr. Manager, did you have?
Can I make a friendly, or suggest a
Sure.
friendly amendment?
Sure.
Can you, would you be open to revising the motion to include agreeing to a buy recycle policy and concept, with the details to be hammered out at a later date?
Sure.
Is that,
I'll amend my second, I guess.
okay, it's been amended to that effect. Discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Town managers report.
You have the meeting minutes of December 2nd, 2014 for your consideration.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Meeting minutes of April 7th, 2015.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
4 in the affirmative, 1 abstention, motion carries.
Phase 2 of the water main replacement project on Main Street began Monday, April 27th. The construction hours are 7 a.m. through 3 p.m., Monday through Friday. There's no Saturday work scheduled at this time. Aquarian will be providing weekly project updates that'll be posted on the town's website. 3 Sigourney Street, the board is in receipt of a letter from Jim and Karen Dwyer. They're preparing to sell the property located at 3 Sigourney Street. The property is in the historical district and zoned for business adjacent to the Memorial Hall and the Senior Center and across from the library. Is the board interested in having the administration explore purchasing this?
That's, we all know where the property is. We all know that it's a postage stamp lot.
Yep.
My personal opinion is exploring it, why not? But my initial gut feeling is that if the price isn't right, then it's certainly not worth it, because we can't do anything with it other than to knock it down and add to the parking lot. That's the only thing we can do.
Right.
In my opinion, it really doesn't look feasible, but certainly if the board wants to explore it, that's fine.
I have to agree with you, John. In the state of our economy and our finances, I don't see us as being able to purchase that whatsoever. So it's a great idea to explore it, but I think it's a useless amount of time. So
I think your point is well taken. It might be
I would say,
a waste of...
explore without spending any money. How's that?
So do it during your coffee break and your
Yeah.
That's my
Discussion
opinion.
on it?
I'm gonna make
Do
a
we even want to explore it?
I'll make a motion that we explore it, as long as we don't utilize any cash or spend any, whatever.
Any money? Okay, we have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. Mr. Manager, would you follow through on that
Sure.
and get back to us, and then we'll take a vote as to whether or not it's feasible to
Will do.
do it?
Okay.
Thank you.
Got 2 entertainment licenses in connection with St. Roch's Carnival. One is a general entertainment license for Joslyn Park from May 15th through the 17th. The hours of operation are Thursday, May 14th and Friday, May 15th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Saturday, May 16th, 12 noon to 10 p.m.
Entertain a motion to
So
approve.
moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve. Any discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Okay, then you have the Sunday entertainment license for the same carnival. It's going to be May 17th from 12 noon to 6 p.m.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, discussion. Being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. 4 in the affirmative, 1 no, motion carries.
We have a request for a special pouring license in conjunction with the American Legion's annual Horseshoe League. They're requesting a special pouring license for malt beverages only, beginning on Saturday from noon to 6 p.m. from May 30th, 2015, and ending October 31st, 2015.
I believe this is a renewal, Mr. Manager, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they know that it has to be plastic cups and blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion for discussion.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second for discussion. Yes.
I presume this is something we do every year. I recall this, so to me, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Abstain?
Yes.
Yes, 4 in the affirmative, 1 abstention, motion carries.
National Public Works Week is May 17th through the 23rd, 2015. Proclamation has been proposed for their honor. Would you care to read it, Mr. Chairman?
Do we have it here?
Thought it was in the book.
Pretty sure we signed it. No, it's
Oh,
in the-
Karen has it.
We signed.
You signed it.
I know we signed it, but we didn't officially take a vote on it.
These are the 3 proclamations for this evening.
They all, no, the 3 different wordings. Okay. I will read this one. You can read that one. The secretary can read that one. Okay, proclamation, Emergency Medical Services Week. Whereas emergency medical services is valid public service, and whereas the members of the emergency medical services team are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours per day, 7 days a week, as well as proven by our EMS team, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the members of the emergency medical services team engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is most appropriate to recognize the value, accomplishments, professionalism, and dedication of the Town of Oxford EMS team, and therefore be it resolved that we, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Oxford, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through the 23rd, 2015, as Emergency Medical Services Week in our community and recognize the outstanding work of our EMS team. Signed by the members of the Oxford Board of Selectmen and Town Manager.
So,
Yep.
do we have to
We have
make a
to-
motion? approve
Motion
that?
to approve.
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
Seconded, discussion, being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries. Mr. Vice Chair?
We also have National Police Week. Whereas police Chief Michael Hassett has said Oxford police officers are trained in different disciplines such as firearms, sexual assault investigation, child abuse, domestic violence, elderly affairs, K-9, school resource, informational technology, evidence, and a host of other areas. In addition to performing patrol duties, the department's members, second to none, are dedicated to meet the challenge and demands of a changing society, and I'm proud to serve with these fine officers. And whereas these dedicated men and women who have chosen law enforcement as a career play an essential role in preserving the freedom, rights, safety, and security of the citizens of Oxford. And whereas the members of the Oxford Police Department provide a vital public service facing the threat of violence and danger and routinely put their lives on the line to defend ours. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of the members of the Oxford Police Department, and that members of the department recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And therefore, be it resolved that we, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Oxford, call upon all citizens of Oxford and all patriotic, civil, and educational organizations to observe the week of May 10th through 16th, 2015, as National Police Week. And this proclamation is signed by the entire board and the town manager. And I'll make the motion that we approve that.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? Being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
And we have a third proclamation for the, this week has been deemed National Public Works Week, and I guess this is the year that they most deserve this honor. I mean, this was a brutal year. God, I was sick of shoveling, and I can only imagine what the guys at the DPW are. Anyway, proclamation, National Public Works Week. Whereas Oxford understanding of the task performed by our DPW, Cemetery Department, Conservation Agent, and Sewer Department is important to the successful operation of the public works systems and programs. And whereas the Department of Public Works in the town of Oxford is an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives and is of vital importance to their health, safety, and well-being, which greatly depends on these professional, skilled, and dedicated employees. And whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff our DPW is influenced by our residents' understanding of the importance of the work they perform, and therefore be it resolved that we, the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Oxford, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th through May 23rd, 2015 as National Public Works Week in our community, and we all call upon the citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributions that the public works personnel make every day. Given under our hands with this 28th day of April 2015, members of the Board of Selectmen, Town Manager.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Okay, we've had a constable resignation. The board is in receipt of the resignation of Franklin Sonny Sad as constable for the town of Oxford effective April 22nd. And we thank him for his years of service to the town.
I'll entertain a motion to send a letter.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? There being none, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
The town clerk has scheduled some training on campaign finance, so you can learn what to say and not say about ballot items. That's Thursday, April 30th at 6:30 p.m., Oxford High School Community Room. Okay. There were some changes to the personnel manual over the last couple years. One had to do with jury duty and court appearances, and the other had to do with the establishment of the police lieutenant position. Changes to the personnel manual, according to the charter, are supposed to be reviewed for comment by both the Finance Committee and the Selectmen before the Personnel Board goes ahead with their amendment, and we couldn't find any evidence that that had happened. So I'm presenting these to you tonight for your review and comment, and then we'll forward those comments to the Personnel Board, and they can take this action again. Are there any comments?
I have a comment. If you're on jury duty or you have to be in court, I have a serious issue that they have to use their own personal time or vacation time in order to be paid. To me, that should be, in most businesses, that's a paid situation. Maybe I'm wrong, no?
It's $50 a day, I think, is what the law requires a private sector employee to
Right.
contribute. I think like maybe the first couple days, I know it's $50 a day. I'm not sure if it's the first couple days, it's the full amount. I think it changes after the first couple days, but I know if it's long and drawn out, it's $50.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Guess I'm wrong. Okay.
And the second one, through the chair, this is just basically saying that, this is regards to Section 9 Police Lieutenant. This is just saying that the Board of Selectmen has authority to make special provisions
That's right.
for the police lieutenant, much like it does with the
Other
chief of police.
That's right.
As long as it doesn't exceed what the chief is getting. Okay.
Okay.
So, I'm wondering how we handle this. I mean, we've all approved this initially, so I don't know if the board members have any additional comments or concerns regarding it. Is it necessary to hold it up, or can we take a vote this
You
evening?
can take a vote if you're willing.
If the board feels comfortable with what we have proposed in those regards, then I would entertain a motion that we approve.
So moved.
A second.
Discussion? There be-
Yeah, I do have a
Yep,
question.
go ahead.
The jury duty. If a town employee gets called on jury duty, they get paid their wage for the days that they're missing?
No,
The
not,
first 3
not
days.
unless they take a personal day of
That's
vacation.
after 3 days, that's after 3 days. So I mean, for the first 3 days, they get paid what they normally make.
Right.
Yeah, okay, first 3 days, right?
Just the three.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Okay, we're working with Bay Path on getting them out to take a look at the bathrooms at OCC and the bathrooms at Carbuncle Park. Should be a date in the next couple of weeks, and I'll let you know how that goes. Funding for Access Oxford. They're nearly out of money again, and recommending that we give them $45,000 of our charter money so that they can continue to operate through the remainder of the year. They're going to be coming to your meeting on May 20th with their budget request to justify the entirety of their funding for the next fiscal year.
Good.
Pleasure of the
I'll
board.
make the motion
Yep.
to supply that money, providing town manager is okay with it.
Second motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Is this gonna be after May 20th when they meet with us, or is this gonna be now?
This is to get them through the remainder of the fiscal year, and then when they meet with you on the 20th, we'll be talking about funding for the whole year, the whole fiscal year next year.
What we're doing is we're getting them on the same cycle as the town's fiscal year, which they weren't before. Now they will be.
Okay.
We'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 in the affirmative, motion carries.
Okay, announcements. Bulk item drop-off. Let's see, the dates are as follows. Saturday, April 25th for residents residing from Oxford Center. That's north of Charlton Street and Sutton Avenue to the north end of town. And Saturday, May 2nd for residents residing from Oxford Center, south of Charlton Street, Sutton Avenue to the south end of town. Drop-off dates will be strictly enforced. If anyone is unable to make their respective day, they must call the DPW at 508-987-6006 to make arrangements before April 23rd. Well, I guess it's too late now. The times on both Saturdays will be from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Oxford Transfer Station. That's 200 Wester Street, Route 56 in North Oxford. You need to bring proof of residency. Just a reminder, taxes are due May 8th, 2015. If they're not paid by May 8th, 2015, there'll be a 14% penalty assessed on those taxes as of May 9th, 2015 at 9 a.m. There is a Council on Aging has scheduled a thank you brunch for their volunteers Saturday, May 30th at 10:30 a.m. The board has been invited. Please let Karen know if you're going to attend. Over the past weekend, we had a serious accident near the intersection of Old Southbridge Road. We had some residents come in Monday. They were very impressed with the way that the police handled the situation, and so my sincere thanks to the department for the way they handled that.
Very good. Okay, the next item would be Selectmen's request.
I'm all set.
Just one, approached by a resident today, and they said they had read something on the T&G website that said the Town of Oxford Board of Selectmen has recently formed an exploratory committee to purchase the water company, and I was like, telling this individual, I'm like, I don't know, I don't remember ever voting that, or, and you know, unless there was a meeting I missed the past couple of months that this was voted on. So just to, you know, comment everyone down and stop any rumors from spreading. This board is never appointed any members to an exploratory committee.
There was a letter to the editor in the Telegram over the weekend about the town purchasing the water company.
Is that what it is? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it didn't say anything about the selectmen appointing a committee. The article was a little bit off. It made the assumption that the cost of acquiring the committee and the costs that we've incurred so far are built into the tax rate, and that's not the case. Those costs are being paid with the betterments.
Okay, excellent.
Selectmen's request, do you have any more?
No, that's it.
Mr. Berthew?
I'm all set, thank you.
I'm all set.
All set? And then I'm all set. We only have one other item, and it's an executive session. Town manager has requested an executive session under Section 3 of the Open Meeting Law. We will not be reconvening to do any further business, so the only item that we will be doing is the executive session. We will only come back to full session to adjourn. Thank you very much for coming in this evening.